incredible, wonderful wife, Amanda Robbins. Thank you for
Thank
joining me,
you.
love.
I love you. Thank you.
Today, we're focused on points number 3, 4, and 5 of the difference between an actual team versus just a meeting of individuals that happen to work at the same place. This one is really, really important because a lot of people don't realize they use the word team to describe a group of individuals who all have different goals and different focuses and different purposes and outcomes they're trying to work on, and they don't actually have a team. A team has a unified outcome and a unified goal, and believe that all people play a critical part in achieving this specific outcome, and they're all excited to achieve that outcome. They have purpose and meaning tied to it so that it's fulfilling and exciting for them. And so last session, if you saw it, we covered purpose and goals and the difference between a team versus just a meeting of individuals. Whoa. We covered roles and responsibilities, difference between a team and meeting individuals. Today, we're going to start with collaboration and communication, the difference between a team versus just a meeting of individuals. So, Love, could you kick us off?
Yeah. So we're jumping into collaboration and communication. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Are you still stuffy?
A little bit.
Okay, cool. Before we dive into it though, was there a question we wanted to ask people?
Kick us up.
No, I can do it. I just wanted to ask a question. Like whoever's listening, I'm interested in. I'm super passionate about teams and being a team player, but I'm curious to know, would you consider this a strength of the people watching, not you? Would you consider this a strength of yours? Do you wonder if you're a team player or are you actually an individual player? This is important. We actually have a quiz on this if you're interested to know if you're a team player truly, or if you're actually an individual player who thinks you're a team player, but maybe you could do a little better. And you're curious just about where you stand. DM Jarek and he'll send you the link to the quiz. Okay, diving back in, because I'm getting some really funny looks. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. I'm curious. I'm trying to engage the audience. What do you think?
Thought you were stalling.
No, I'm not stalling. I was genuinely trying to engage the audience instead of just fire hosing them with all this great information we're about to give them. Okay, collaboration and communication. As you can tell, I'm very big on this one. I want to collaborate with my audience and I want to communicate and them to communicate with us. So let's talk about this. This is one of the third pillar of teams that are high performing and really deliver a ton of value. A true team is all about continuous and open communication channels that foster collaboration, trust, mutual support, and enable the team to navigate challenges and leverage opportunities together. Now, one thing that's important to note here, continuous and open communication. That doesn't mean that you have all of the channels of communication open and you're talking on all these different things. It's actually something more streamlined that actually allows for more efficiency. I'm sure everyone listening can relate to, you're getting text, WhatsApp, Facebook messages, Slacks, what are all the other ones? The Teams, all this different way to communicate, and it's actually creating more noise and confusion than actual collaboration and communication. So the critical points here are that you do have open communication that is continuous and does allow that collaboration to happen, but it is in an efficient way that does allow trust to happen and support and really allowing the team to better navigate challenges, not so many ways of communication that it's actually creating challenges. I've seen this happen with teams prior where it's just absolutely nuts. But the key here is that it is open, it's continuous. It is, especially in this virtual world, it's in a way where we're able to give benefit, or what's the word I'm looking for? Where you best intent, sometimes when we're communicating on these different channels, tone may come across funny, and depending on just how someone is feeling that way, how something lands may be a little funky. And it's important to always, in that communication, whatever it is, especially if it's, through a screen or keyboard, that we're able to give benefit of the doubt or see the best intent in the communication, and really make sure that we're able to communicate in a way that is supportive and collaborative, and just that, right? Try to give them, again, benefit of the doubt, and not kind of attack or judge what might be coming through. Okay, I'm going to stop there. What is the difference between a team versus a meeting of individuals, Jarek Robbins, as it relates to collaboration and communication?
Um, so the intent or the frame, I think, makes a big difference on this one. And what I mean by intent is, if you think of three levels, the bottom level would be transactional. Like, I'm reaching out to you for a piece of information, and that's it. I don't care what you're going through. It doesn't matter. This is work. Leave your shit outside. um you don't really care or have space or interest for the human that you're dealing with. If you're just a meeting of individuals, then who cares? You're here to do a job, do the job, and leave everything else out. And that's very transactional. And so meeting of individuals often is transactional. It's not relational, where it's like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on in your world? What can I share with you? Wow, you're going through something right now. Oh, I need this, but here, can I take a few moments and help you navigate what's going on? Or can I support you? Or can I just listen to you or care, or at least say, hey, I've got your back, whatever it is. So is it relational or is it transformational? I want to help you grow as a human being. I want to see you excel. I need this information. And how can we, build together so that we both improve as humans in this process? And so if it's a meeting of individuals, they're not really a team. It's often just transactional. They don't really care about who's on the other end. They just need what they need now. Um, Number two is it's focused on exchange of information instead of a relationship. The isolated issues often are what's going on without collaborative engagement. So it's really show up, handle the one thing, we're done, I'm out, leave me alone, don't talk to me. This is transactions over. And so collaboration and communication, it's very transactional. It's not ongoing. It's just a one time, give me what I need, okay, I'm done, and they leave. And it doesn't foster a team environment. It's really just individuals getting what they want or when they need it, how they want it, and then they're done. And if you don't give it to them, they're often frustrated or pissed or annoyed.
Yeah.
And so if you see that environment where someone shows up, asks for something, and then just leaves, and usually the thought process, I've heard this so many times from different places, where the thought process is someone just says, listen, that's what I hired you for. That's why you're here. Or, hey, we're both doing our job, so just do your job and get it done, and leave the rest out. And the moment you hear a human say, leave the rest out, leave your stuff at the door, then it's not really human anymore. It's not really caring about that relationship or that human. It's now just focused on get your task done and then move on, which is interesting. So the key is, can you keep those open channels of communication? And an open channel communication, my 2 cents on this, more than just is Slack open and continually chatting back and forth. It means there is an open channel to communicate, meaning you're always welcome to come to me and talk. You're always welcome. That the channel is open. This is a space that's wide open. If you need to talk to me about something, tell me. If you have a question, ask. If you just need to share what's going on, share. There is a open channel. There's an open space. And what that means, I come from the coaching world. And so in the coaching world, that means I'm willing to hold space for what's going on with you. One thing that messes up collaboration and communication is when we allow ourselves to become so busy. We fill up all of our mental, emotional, and physical space. and we fill it up with our family, our kids, our spouse, our work, our life, our money, we fill ourselves up. We're so full that someone that is on our team comes to us and says, hey, I'm really going through something. And the thought you have is, I don't have space for this. I don't have space to listen to this because I'm so busy and my calendar's jam packed. I don't have space to care about this because I'm already overfilled caring about so much stuff and so many other things and so many people and processes and things and situations and meetings and events and the kids and like I'm full. I have no space open for this, which lands up putting you in a position where you might feel like I don't care. And in that kills it. That kills collaboration and communication. I'll give you a quick story. I remember I was at the dog park in Tampa Bay, and there was this guy that showed up with a dog, and he was dressed from head to toe, like hat, shirt, socks, flip-flops, shorts, everything was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was like, this guy's like a super fan. Like, he must really like the team. And I remember at some point we were chatting, and I was like, you really like football, huh? And he looked at me, he smiled, and he said, you could say that. And I was like, that's a weird answer. And I'm like, why are you dressed in head to toe Tampa Bay? And he's like, well, I kind of play for the team. I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense. I just thought you really liked the team and somehow had every piece of clothing you're wearing the team logo on it. And he's like, no, I play for the team. And I was like, oh, that's cool. What do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm the kick receiver. So anytime there's a kick, I receive it and run it back. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Very cool. And I said, could you describe to me what the team is like? Like, what's the difference between playing in high school, playing in college, and then playing for the pros? Like, can you tell me the difference? And this was in Tampa Bay was struggling. And he says, here's what really stands out to me. When I was in high school, all of us came together with a common mission to try to defeat the opposing school, the rival. We wanted to win county. We wanted to win state. We had a common goal, and we were all in it together. In college, the same thing. Like, we had our arch rival school that we'd always play against once a year, and we were all in it together. He says, pros, here's what's crazy. There's a guy who's on my team that during practice 5 days a week will try to blow out my knee so that he gets to become the starter and he gets to get the large check and he gets the glory and all the points and stuff. But then somehow 2 days later on Sunday, him and I are supposed to be best friend and teammates and go take on the other team. And I went, interesting. And he says, and you have these superstars that play here. So, most of us are making a good amount of money, but there's a few of us on this team that make 100 or 1,000 times more than everybody else. And they're super special. Like, they have their families, they're grown adults. So they have all these other things going on in their life. So, after practice in high school or college, like, we'd go hang out. We would do stuff. We'd be part of the same team. As a grown adult on a pro team, the moment practice is over, these guys get in their car and they're gone. You don't see them again until they come to work the next day. After that meeting, I remember I walked away and I instantly knew why the team was struggling. Instantly. They weren't a team. They were a group of individuals who happened to be hired to play for the same franchise. They were not a team. And what's interesting is since then, they've become a team and they went and won championships multiple times. But that happened because they somehow became a team. And so looking at collaboration and communication, they were just a group of individuals who happened to be hired to play a sport for the same franchise. And what changed between them getting their butts kicked and them actually winning championships was they became an actual team. They created space to care for each other. They started to learn about each other. They started to play together. They got on the same team with the same outcome. And part of what brought that together was some great leadership. They brought in a new quarterback who had experience being a great leader of a sports team and he really brought that together, but it comes together through caring and communicating. Point number 2, so collaboration, communications, pillar 3. Pillar 4, decision making and problem solving. How do teams versus just meeting of individuals go about this differently, Love?
Thanks. All right. So a team will collectively make decisions or go through a collective decision-making process, rather, that values different perspectives and allows for innovative solutions to surface. And there's a shared ownership of outcomes. So again, it's not something that's like just based on the individual, and it's not transactional. It's a very collective process that goes through making decisions together and coming up with innovative ideas and strategies or solutions, and then sharing the ownership of the outcomes. So it's not going to be like, oh, well, that was your idea, you go after it. It's like we are in this together through the tough decisions, through the taking action towards our outcome, through coming up with creative ideas, and we have each other's back.
Versus a meeting of individuals, when it's just a group of people who happen to be employed by the same place, decisions are made on individual input, meaning someone shows up and says, hey, this is what it's going to be. Don't care what y'all think or feel, get it done. That kind of concept, or majority rule. Hey, we have option 1 and option 2. What do y'all think? And 5 people or 10 or 100 people raise their hand for option 1, and they go, well, there we have it. We're going to go with that. Instead of having the ability to actually hear everybody, take the best pieces of it, and make a creative solution based on, can we pull the best parts of everyone's thoughts together and make a new option that might not exist? It might not be only 2 options. There might be a new third option. I like the concept of a mastermind, where when 5 people come together, it's not just 5 people meeting. There's a 6th mind created, which is the creativity that spawns from them working together, creating a whole new perspective or way to go about it. The other piece that happens here is when it's a team, there's unified commitment and collaboration to the decision. When it's individuals, doesn't matter if it's unified. This is where, if half the room is pissed about what's happening, well, that's life, is the kind of statement you say. You can't make everyone happy, so make the decision, and some will like it and some won't, and they just have to deal with it. You start hearing phrases like that when it's just a meeting of individuals versus an actual team working together. When it's a team, they'll work to understand the framework and the thought process. Doesn't mean they agree with it, but they understand why it makes sense. They understand how that will help everyone involved. They understand all those bits and pieces. Final pillar. So again, from the top, there was purpose and goals, roles and responsibilities, collaboration, communication, decision-making, and problem solving. The final one is how they handle development and growth. The difference between, again, a team versus just a group of individuals that happen to work in the same place. Do you want to kick us off with the team?
Yeah, I love this topic so much. So when it comes to growth and development with a team, just like an individual, there's going to be hopefully constant and never ending improvement and learning and growth, right? And through that process, not only you as an individual are growing, right? But in a team, that same development is happening. So a team together, a really strong, high performing team that really delivers great results is a team that's able to focus on the continuous learning and development through the highs, through the lows. They go through those challenges and experiences together that allows that team to strengthen over time. They're more resilient, they get better results, are higher performers. They're able to weather the storm so much better together because they've gone through this development and growth together. In the simplest of ways to implement this into your team is I have a couple of experiences, but one of my favorites straight out of college was one of the first teams I was a part of. We were always going through a book together, right? Ideally, everyone's reading it, but even if they weren't able to catch those chapters, we were still getting together and sharing what we learned in that book, how it applied to our lives, our team, our company, the culture, everything. And it was through that, like that exploration, those shared points of view, figuring out how to implement this into our company, our culture, our teams, that really allowed us to bond over time and to grow over time. It's for sure left a huge impact on my life. And I know all the colleagues that I worked with at that company as well. So finding a way that your team can commit to, whether it's ongoing trainings together, not individually, but together you're going through it, or reading books together, challenges together, all these things that you can do together that really allow you as individuals and then together as a team to learn and grow and to, work through challenges and just strengthen your bond and your resilience through that process is tremendously impactful and what the highest performing teams do.
Absolutely. The meeting of individuals version of this is people pursue their own individual development. They do it independent of the group. They're less focused on how it affects or helps or doesn't help the collective. And they're not looking to anything that actually helps group dynamics. They're just saying, hey, I like to learn about this, or I'm interested in this and I'm going to go pursue that. And yeah, you guys do whatever you want. You're adults kind of concept. And so big question, based on what we've covered today, are you currently part of an actual team, or are you just part of a group of individuals that happen to work in the same organization? This is a really, really important question. And so if you watched the last session we did and you watched this session, I'd love to hear your answers. Are you actually part of a team, or are you just a bunch of really great individuals who happen to work at the same place and you're not actually a team? Based on what we've shared with you, purpose and goals, roles and responsibilities, collaboration, communication, decision-making and problem solving, development and growth, which bucket did you fall into when we explain the difference between an actual team versus just a group of individuals who happen to work at the same place? If you happen to be a group of individuals that just work at the same place and you'd like to transform that into a actual team, shoot us a direct message. We have a few spots to do group coaching where we can actually work with your entire team and get them all into performing, behaving, and showing up like a team. The benefits of this are wildly different. I gave the example earlier of when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers figured out how to get their group of professional athletes to become an actual team, they started winning Super Bowls. When your organization performs like an actual team, you will see a massive increase in morale, employee experience, and net promoter score will shoot up. You'll see results like never before. You'll see actual bonds and relationships being built at a whole new level. And you'll see all the individuals actually start to grow as human beings, as well as the progress and performance output going up. So it's really phenomenal what happens when you do this right. Again, if you have an organization and you happen to be just a group of individuals and you'd like to turn into an actual team, send us a direct message. We'll do some work with you and show you how to make it happen. Also, if you're someone who would like to develop the skill set to coach teams, or to get that coaching skill set where you want to better lead your team, make sure to go to performancecoachuniversity.com/apply and check out our performance coach certification program for leaders or for team managers. It'll give you all the skills on how to cause your organization to come together and cause all of them to increase their professional and personal performance as well. Okay. Any last words on this one?
I love this topic. I'm passionate about it. Team coaching and being a team player makes everything that you do, where you spend the most hours of your life, which is typically work, so much more fulfilling and worthwhile. So
it's true.
Yeah, great topic. All right, cool.